Boom! Here I am. Hey fellas, thanks for. It looks like we have 17 guys right now, but as always, as the owner of FEG PC, I'm always looking for ways to get the iRacer in, to experience iRacing how it's supposed to be experienced for the least amount of money. So a lot of guys are always asking about VR and they think it's out of their reach, but in fact it's not. So what I was doing a couple different combinations of CPUs with VR, with graphics cards, things of that nature. Just doing some things behind the scene that nobody else sees, and probably a lot of other builders don't even do because they don't sell the volume that I do. But I came across, well, I knew this chip was out there and probably would be good at this because VR needs single core count, high speed. And the i3-9100 clocks in at 4.2. So you might say, well, 4.2, like how fast is that? Well, I'm going to show you some benchmarks here, which we're going to do live. And basically the i3, which is a 4-core chip, is the same as the i5 and the i7 2 years ago. They only had 4 cores too. So when someone hears i3, they're like, oh, that can't do anything. Well, it still has 4 cores just like the i5s and the i7s had 2 years ago. So yes, it's still a very viable chip. Not good for like streaming things of that nature, but for straight gaming, yeah, it's good. iRacing uses 3 cores, so the 4 cores is all you need. So let's go ahead and first off, let's show you the PC. Now this PC, as you can see in my description up there, is actually going to be raffled off. So you're going to have that for you. So if you want this PC, which I'm about to demo, I'm raffling off chances for you guys to buy it. So let me get my NDI up here, and we will take a look at this bad boy. And I'm actually going to race and everything in VR for you guys, so you guys can actually see it. Now I am streaming and recording at the same time, so we'll see how this goes. So I'm going to let you guys see my legs first. Boom.
Boom.
And all my trash boxes. But here's PC. It's i3-9100.
Open up the guys. It has a side open like that.
It's the i3-9100. It has an RX 570 in it. And it has 16 gigabytes of RAM. So you might be saying, an i3-9100 with RX 570 is going to run VR. And I'm going to tell you what it is. I'm going to show you that it will. Instead of a bunch of guys
killing you with the double sound. Instead of a bunch of guys telling you that it can't be done or whatever, as always, I just go ahead and show you what my PCs will do. No other computer builders out there are literally showing you what the PC does in the actual game that you're wanting to do. So let's go ahead and take a look. And if the volume's not loud enough or whatever, just let me know. Hey, Checkered Flag, how you doing, buddy? Checkered Flag's another guy who sells computers on the site as well. All right, so what am I'm trying to? There we go. So as you can see here, it's an i3-9100 as stated. I use an ASRock B365M Pro 4, no junk boards, and of course 16 gigabytes of RAM. It's at 2400 speed. You might ask why only 2400 speed. Intel isn't as RAM heavy as it doesn't need the speed that Ryzen needs, and the B365 and the i9100 chip. The i9100 chip can only use 2600 RAM anyway. Graphics card is an RX 570, and let's go ahead and just bench it, and we can compare it to some of the chips that are out there. Now the first number that you see here is the multi-threaded score, and basically the multi-threaded score is more like for video editing and things that use a lot of cores, to where the single-threaded score is more geared towards gaming, and that's what VR needs there. So we got a 452.3 score. So let's look down here. You see we have an i3-9100F. Let's go ahead and pair that with see how it stacks up against the i7 6700K. Now that's a 2-year ago chip. Look, 452, 474. So it's fairly close to the i7 6700K. These newer 9th gen i3s, which are 4 cores, the same as you see here, i7, 4 cores. Now, of course, there's more threads for the 6700K, but the cores you can see here, the 4C, is the same amount of cores. And iRacing only uses 4 cores. Let's look at the i5 7600. Again, it's only a little bit shy off, 452, 480. So the point I'm trying to make is that the i3 is a viable chip, and I want you to see kind of how it works, due to a lot of disinformation that's out there. So let's try against the 2700X. As you can see, it's not that far off of the Ryzen 7 2700X. Right. So what I'm going to do is, I'm not even going to use a cheap VR headset. I am going to use the Oculus Rift S, which is really, really nice. So I'm not using a downgraded VR headset to do this. I'm going to actually use, and get Oculus going. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to, let's see here. We are going to, looks like we might have a little bit of time before the next C fixed. But we'll see if it's possible to get into it. So here we go. Watch Oval Series. And hopefully one of these C fixed will be running. We'll take the bottom one, because that one's likely to have the more wrecks. Okay, it's going to be bringing that up. While that's bringing that up, guys, I'm going to be pulling the web.
Alright, I'm going to leave that webcam right on the screen there, and what I've done is I've already put the frames per second. Now, max frames per second on the Rift S is, yeah, those cases are nice. On the Rift S is 80 frames per second, okay? So, and I put the counter for you to see. And I got everything on in VR, and I'm going to be racing with a Xbox controller, so you're going to have to, cut me some slack there. But the point is to show you that this thing can do VR just fine, and you're really going to be impressed, I think. So I'll be putting on the VR headset. I'll fix that here. I just missed that. Okay, let's see here. I'll make sure it's showing up for you guys. So I'll be putting on the VR headset here. Hopefully, and I'll have everything on, by the way. Grandstands, all the pit boxes, everything, all of that's on. It may be on low, but for those in VR, low settings and high settings, there's not a whole lot of difference. And you're going to see that anyway. Now, you're not going to hear the cars, I don't think, because it's going to be in my other headset. Like I said, the i3, you don't want to, you're not going to stream with an i3. I mean, you probably could, but it's not built for that. So, let's see. So, let me make sure, hold on a second, I'm going to, alright. Okay, can you guys see the frames per second? Yeah. It's reading 80 frames per second, which I'll look back so you can see that the pit boxes are there. Everything's on. Look at the crowds. Everything's on. So, let me center up my... Can you guys see it now? Maybe? It's 80... Just trust me, it's 80 frames per second. So, I'm going to go out here on the track, and I'm going to ride around the track. Now, I have it in my Xbox controller, so bear with me. And this is with the Oculus Rift S. So, not even the old Rift, the new one. So again, I have everything on. Oop. Sorry about that. I'm going to get closer to the FPS so you can see it with the VR headset. 7980, 7980 max. Now the pack is coming around right now. Of course, they're going much better than faster than I am. Now we're coming down the stretch. And watch, 7980. We got the pit stops here and everything. See the pits are over there? Max FPS. Now, granted, I've mastered, tuning VR, and yours will come to every FEG PC comes tuned for VR. But max 80 frames per second, and I'll check the guys' comments here in a second. I just want to do a couple laps so you can see. Actually, I'll go down pit road, which the front stretch and pit road is the hardest on your computer. Now again we have the i3, which is the same as the i5 from 2 years ago. Now, if you're asking, can this do regular? Of course it can. VR is more stressful. Let me slow down here. So, take a look. Still 7980. We have not dropped a single frame, boys. Not dropped a single frame. And FEG PC can bring this. Now, look, I'm showing you, just doing this so you guys can see the pit boards. Stuff is on, boys. Stuff is on. Everything is on here on this Oculus Rift S. Okay, so I think that is sufficient. All right. Let me go back to here. Oh, well, you don't need to see me. I'm just talking anyway. So, there you guys have that. Would you guys like to see what the i3 with the RX 5? You know, why don't we do that? I'll go ahead and show you that too. So let's do that. I can probably bring up my NDI for that. Well, I guess I'll just leave it on the same screen there. Alright, so, but this time we'll do it without using the VR headset. We're going to do it just regular so you can see. And you're going to see that it's going to be between 150 and 200 frames per second. Anyone going to complain about an i3, 4 cores with 150 200 frames per second with the RX 570? Probably not. I'm getting ready to show you right now, Eric. On single, it's going to run about 150 to 200 frames per second. And on triples, this would still do probably about 80 to 100, 110 on triples. And this very PC, guys, is going to be for raffle. It's going to be up within 15 minutes of the ending of this video. And I hope you guys like these sort of things. I know no other builders do things like this. I just like to, so you guys can kind of see what your PC is going to be able to do. Not too many guys out there doing that. Alright, so let's do it. Let's get to it. Alright, so I'm sitting on this. I don't know if you guys can see that there. Hold on a second. Yeah, you guys can probably see that. 160 frames per second sitting at the pits. And the field's coming by right now, so I'm going to go ahead and join them so you guys can see what it's like. Now, I really don't race out of VR, so this is really weird for me, but I'm seeing 172 frames per second in the middle of the field pacing on the front stretch right now. 190. 210. We got up to 211. I'll do a quick lap so you can kind of see what it'll be like if you're like not in the pack. Coming down the back stretch, everything's on, guys. Everything's on. I got everything turned on. Some things are on low, of course, and some things are on high. . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . Looking at 240 frames per second. So, I mean, you can turn things on high here. I'm up to 260 right now. Coming around the front stretch again. So we're looking at 200. It should start dropping here because we got the pits and whatnot. Down to 160. 160 frames per second. All the pit boards, everything's on. 167, 160. We'll get in the middle of the pack going across the front stretch as well so you guys can see what it's like on monitors. You already saw that it'll run the Oculus Rift S with everything on and never drop a frame. Flirting with 200, now it's back up to 235, and let's rejoin the pack here. 240s. So we've got a range from 160 to 240 so far. And this one's going to be raffled. This one does have the FEG light kit, as you saw earlier. As you saw earlier, all the lights on it. But you don't have to get the lights. You can just, you know, go with a basic case and still get the same performance. Your performance isn't going to be hurt. So okay, so here we are. 150s in the middle of a pack. Everything on, pits, everything. $150s. So go ahead and turn down. And let's take a look at the settings. I have them tuned for VR actually, but let's take a look at the settings. Medium, 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 low, low, low. If you're asked why low on crowd, grandstands, and event, because it won't matter in VR. You won't see the difference. Just, do you care if the crowds are 3D modeled in VR? Objects high, particles high. The 8x and 4x here, don't worry about that. I deal with that in the DX11 file. If you're a dirt guy, you can see rendering dynamic track data, so you can see, you know, the wear and the slick and stuff on the dirt. Night shadows are on. You can see the stuff over here. So, alrighty. So, let me go back to putting my. Hold on a second with the webcam. Hopefully, you guys aren't getting sick by me moving the webcam now. But I'm gonna be doing the raffle here with this very PC. Let me shut the PC on. But as you can see, it did VR. It did not drop even one frame at all. 80 or 79 to 80 frames, which is the max for 79, 80 is the max for the Oculus Rift S. So you saw it didn't drop a frame at all. So with everything turned on, and you saw the graphic settings there. And I was driving it with my controller. So any more questions before I close out, fellas? And be looking for that raffle. This is a badass PC. It's on par with the i5s and i7s of 2 years ago. The 4.2 on this i3 is pretty quick. So it's about the same as a Ryzen 7 2700 as far as gaming. Now, if you're going to be streaming and stuff, of course, you're going to want to go with something more than the i3. So, but there you go. More than adequate VR capability. You saw the numbers for the for running it on the monitor. So there you go, folks. That's pretty much it. Just wanted to show that off to you guys. So peace out.